Hey guys, hope everybody's having a good day out there today. Welcome back to the channel, and much appreciated you guys just spending a little bit of time with me for today's video. And today I'm going to give you everything that you need to know on choosing your slip sinkers. I'm going to go through the slip sinker selection I have and give you sort of a foundation on when to use which size of slip sinkers under different conditions. And I think that's a lot of things I think even advanced anglers have a time struggling with a little bit is to really know exactly what size of sinker to use for different conditions, because it has a lot more to do than just being efficient. And we'll go over that here in a second, but just real quick here, if they're daily housekeeping tips here, just wanted to remind everybody, go to fishthemoment.com, check out Johnny Nye's upcoming bass camp on November 6th. We're going to be having it here in Springfield, Missouri. It's a full day seminar with Johnny and I. We're going to be covering everything. Johnny's got the electronics, the deep water deal, going to teach you all about. I'm going to go over all my shallow water secrets. You can sign up for that at fishthemoment.com, and you can also check out our fall lake map breakdowns. Also, go over on my channel and check everything out. You can go on my YouTube homepage. Yeah, check out my membership section to become a member of the channel. I've got t-shirts for sale. All that good stuff. And also, if you're interested on the water lesson with me, shoot me a message on my private email, or excuse me, on my Facebook page, Randy Block, a professional angler, with a private message. Okay, got all the business stuff out of the way. Let's get into the slip sinker deal here. Okay, slip sinkers, been around forever, guys. The big evolution with slip sinkers has been the basically the evolution of the tungsten sinker. Back in the day, if you guys remember, it used to be nothing but unpainted lead sinkers. I remember back when that's all you could buy was unpainted lead sinkers. You had to paint them with a magic marker. And then when they started painting them, the paint kept chipping off. I can remember back in the 60s and 70s when, my dad first taught me to use plastic worms. We just crimp a split shot on the end of the worm. We didn't even use slip sinkers. But with the evolution of tungsten and some more of the baked on paints, that gives you more of a diversity in color choices, that type of stuff. So anyway, I'm going to go through a little bit, and this is going to be a detailed video because I'm going to show you guys the box I use, show you the weights, and a little bit on the colors, although I don't want to get into the colors too much because that's another video down the road. So anyway, let me show you my box. Okay guys, here's my terminal tackle box. It's got all my hooks and weights, and we'll do another video on this stuff later, but specifically I want to focus on my sinkers here, and I want to go over each one of it. And I'm going to go from lightest to heaviest and tell you when I use what. Now this one right here, this box, this is all like 1/16 ounce type sinkers, maybe some 32nd ounce ones in there, just real small ones you can see. And a lot of people don't use a 1/16 of an ounce sinker, but I use that size quite a bit actually. This right here, this segment of my box here is designed for a lot of like soft plastic stick baits, like Senkos, Zooms, Linkies, that type of stuff, maybe a Zoom trick worm. This particular box is like, I use it a lot in the springtime of the year when I want a slow falling straight-tailed worm, and when I'm looking specifically for a slow fall. Also, I use this around boat docks sometimes too, but this box is pretty much dedicated only for straight-tailed worms. The 1/16 of an ounce falls so slow that if you have a ribbon tail, it won't make the tails move a little bit. So that's a stick bait size. Here's the 1/8 ounce right here. I use an 1/8 ounce sinker a lot, guys, right here. This is 1/8 ounce there. 1/8 ounce size, I use it heavily again for like these Senko type baits, straight-tailed worms, trick worms. I do use an 1/8 ounce quite a bit on a tube head, just on the Texas rig tube. And also, if I'm swimming a worm, like I say, if I'm swimming like a 10-inch worm, a lot of times over shallow vegetation, I put an 1/8 ounce sinker on there that allows me to not only cast it good, but swim it good. Okay, here's my 3/16 here, and we're getting more into the workhorse. I love a 3/16 ounce weight, guys. This is 3/16. A lot of people even think this is a little bit too light, but to me, the 3/16 ounce box right here, I use it on a lot of different worms. I use it on straight-tailed worms. I use it on curly tails. I use it on tubes. It's a really good size when you're fishing shallow water and dirty water too. Like if I'm fishing water visibility that has less than 2 feet deep, less than 2 foot visibility, and the water's less than 3 feet, as I really like a 3/16 ounce size. I like the way a Texas rig worm feels on a 3/16. You can be efficient with it, yet also it has a nice slow fall. Next is the 1/4 ounce size here. Now the 1/4 ounce, it's pretty common weight. A lot of people use a 1/4 ounce size. The 1/4 ounce is good thing about the let's see if we're in the right thing here. Yeah, the good thing about the 1/4 ounce here is that it's a good bait, or it's a good size to throw around some type of a cover that you're using. If you're fishing bushes or places that the bait has to get up and over, say for example like laydowns and that type of stuff, the 1/4 ounce gets in there real good. It still doesn't fall like a rock. It's got a fairly slow fall with the 1/4 ounce, and it's just a good all-around weight. Next one is the 5/16. Now the 5/16 here is it's one that I use more. Let's see if that, yeah, got one mixed up here. Here we go. 5/16, that one right there. 5/16 is the ones that I use pretty heavily with my creature baits. This is something that I'll use a lot with like a brush hog, like a Z-hog, a beaver, some type of creature bait like that. Some place where I'm wanting to penetrate some fairly heavy cover is when I've got the 5/16. Also, I use the 5/16 if I'm casting a big worm, like a 10 or 12 inch worm on some type of structure, like ledges and points, that type of stuff. If it's like in 10 to 15 foot of water with not much wind. But I really like a 5/16 ounce weight, guys. In my opinion, I probably use the 5/16 more than anything when I'm pitching and flipping a soft plastic. Now the 3/8, it's just up just a little bit from the 5/8. From the 5/16. The 3/8 ounce box is basically anytime the cover gets a little bit thicker or it's a little bit windier. If I'm in some thicker bushes, same baits, creature baits, brush hogs, beaver type baits, the cover's a little bit thicker. If it's a little bit windier, I'm using that for pitching and flipping. Also, again, I'm using it on big worms, Texas rigging it in the deeper water if I got a little bit more wind. Okay, the next one is would be our 1/2 ounce weight. Let me see if I got through it. Yeah, the 1/2 ounce weights right here. 1/2 ounce weights, again, this is one of my top flipping sizes. I use a 1/2 ounce a lot for flipping. This would be the one where I'm almost in stuff so thick that I need to penetrate something that's fairly heavy. This could be like some matted grass. It could be deep bushes. It could be situations where in the summertime where I'm wanting a faster fall. Not necessarily the cover being that thick, but sometimes when I'm up to a 1/2 ounce weight, I'm concerned about the bait getting down fast to trigger a reaction strike. So the 1/2 ounce size, again, I use it heavily with the creature baits. I also use it on the big worms in deeper water. I'd say that out of the 5/16, 3/8, and 1/2, on a big worm in deep water, I probably use the 1/2 a little bit more. It's just really efficient with that. But a lot of people the 1/2 ounce is a go-to flipping bait for them, and I don't like to use a 1/2 ounce unless I have to, or if the fish really want a fast fall. But a lot of people get hung up on a 1/2 ounce a little too much. 3/4 ounce, we're starting to get more into the more specialty weights here. This is the 3/4 ounce. For the most part, the 3/4 ounce for me is a punching size. I'm using this in any type of matted vegetation, hydrilla, cabbage, that type of stuff. When I'm punching, guys, I prefer a little bit lighter punch weight than a lot of people do. So I use a 3/4 a lot when I'm punching heavy vegetation, milfoil, hydrilla, that type of stuff. Also, if I'm fishing deep bushes, say if the water's 8 or 10 foot high and I need to get the bait down in a hurry, I'll use a 3/4 ounce. But I'm normally, when I'm using a 3/4 ounce, it's in around some type of matted vegetation. And then we get up into the real specialty stuff, the 1 ounce and the 1 1/4 ounce ones. You know, 1 ounce size, you know, 1 1/4 ounce here. These really big weights like this. These are strictly for punching, for pitching and flipping matted, super heavy vegetation. I don't ever fish like bushes or wood cover with a 1 ounce or 1 1/4 ounce. It's always matted stuff. Matted cabbage, matted sawdust, you know, nasty stuff that you have to penetrate with. And that is pretty much it as far as the cover. Now, I'll talk a little bit here real quick about reaction strikes. Normally, when I'm wanting a reaction strike, I'm in this section right here, you know, the 1/2 ounce to 1 ounce. And a lot of times in hot weather, or if the water is really clear, I go a little bit heavier with my sinkers because I want that reaction strike. The mid-range size, like the 1/4 ounce, 3/8, 5/16, that is not, I'm not really concerned about with the reaction bite with this particular sinker. This is more of a cover penetration efficiency area. But then on the light side, like the 1/16, 1/8, and 3/16, these are the slow fallers. Sometimes the bass want a real slow, natural looking fall, and this is when the lighter weights come in. So you got slow fall, you know, generations, the mid-levels, which are sort of neutral as far as your strike reaction, and then the heavier ones, which create a reaction strike there. So that's pretty much the baits the sinker sizes. Okay, guys, that's my whole sinker selection right there. I think that for the most part, I think I use a wider range of slip sinkers than most anglers do. I see most anglers very limited in their slip sinker selection. They're limited like a 1/4 ounce, 1/2 ounce, and a 1 ounce. I see so many guys get locked in on that. They get locked in on a 1/4, 1/2 ounce, or big 1 ounce size. But there's a time and place for every single one. You can see I've got everything from a 32nd ounce all the way up to 1 1/4 ounce. And guys, I use these all year long. I mean, I don't use, you know, I use some variation of these all year long because there's a place for them. Because there's two elements when you're choosing slip sinkers. It's a matter of being efficient, getting your bait in the cover where you can make the most amount of efficient casts and keep your bait in the strike zone, depending upon the wind and the water depth and the cover thickness. And then also the fall rate, whether those bass want a slow fall, medium fall, or a fast fall. So you have those two factors to determine when you're trying to figure out the slip sinker size to use. But that's today's tip. I'll be back later. We'll do some stuff on slip sinker colors and, you know, slip sinkers on different type of baits, but just wanted to give you guys that foundation there. So hope you guys enjoyed the tip. Please hit that subscribe and like button if you haven't, and we'll be back soon with another one. See you.